Yeah, so I feel like there should be an intro for this, but they will pull it down, obviously, for copyright issues. If you play somebody else's song. Yeah, it's April 10th, 2020. And this whole thing with the coronavirus is going on. And we're all on lockdown. But it doesn't feel very unfamiliar to me. Because throughout the past couple of years, I've been social distancing, like, on my own, by choice. So it's kind of, when this first started happening and they recommended the social distancing thing, I was kind of, I felt, it was like a sense of relief, because I just felt like, oh, now I have an excuse, and the 2-year mark is coming up. And for me, the hardest day, it has been, I've only had one of each. It's only been really one of every, like, landmark, every significant day. So I don't have much experience with life without her. Well, maybe 2, because it's coming up on 2 years, will be tomorrow. But that's been the hardest day. It's April 11th was the hardest day for me last year. So it's the morning that Rachel died. And I'm just sitting here, I have my coffee, and I'm realizing that Spreaker, if you don't consistently pay for a subscription with Spreaker, meaning like paying to be a podcaster, which is like, pretty cheap. You can pick different tiers or whatever, but if you take a break and you don't pay, they'll take down the episodes that they save for you, which makes sense. They only have a certain amount of space, I'm sure, for stuff like that. And I noticed that they took down most of I had something like 30 episodes, and they took down most of them from Spreaker, which sucks, because it was kind of like a document. It's kind of like documenting and telling the story of what happened and saving it. So coming up on 2 years here, I figured I might tell the story again. I haven't, I was really yearning to tell the story after she died. It was something like felt heavy on my conscience, but and I felt like I did that through this app, whether people listened or not. I have some close friends that listened and some not so close friends that listened, and every time I hear somebody say that they listened, it's just like touches me in a big way, because there's nothing exciting about what I'm saying. And it's certainly not, I'm sure, I mean it to be sometimes uplifting, but I'm sure it's not always. But, but her story, in retrospect, looking back at it, has become extremely uplifting to me. I've learned to deal with this day. This was the hardest day that I dealt with, and I think, and it was keeping me awake at night, and for a long time I still have trouble sleeping, but I don't think it's necessarily related to like trauma or something. But this day it's just a tough day, and thinking about the way she passed and the morning she passed, and I know all of us have regrets in her circle. I used to think, God, I'm lucky I didn't work and I got so much time with her, and I just feel grateful that I could be without regret during that time. But of course I have regrets. Of course I do. I wished so many things, I don't even want to vocalize them here because it's nobody's business, really. Some of the regrets that people carry, you vocalize them with the right people that can help you process that, and that's appropriate. But, I don't know. 2 years ago today, Rachel had a full day. She had a full day. She had someone come and play music for free, which is just incredible. Part of hospice, this music therapist who ended up playing at Rachel's memorial too, which I'm forever grateful for. And I wish that I had recorded, because I certainly don't remember much of Rachel's memorial. I don't remember much at all, to be honest. I was I don't know, it's something that happens. You hear about these things and people having a hard day and not recalling most of it. And it's true, sometimes that happens. But, the weather was a lot like it is now, today. I just felt, I don't know, today feels like, the last breath of winter coming through, and trying to, I don't know, have one more day in the sun or something. But I don't know. She had a lot of guests that day. The music and a group of people from her father's church came and prayed around her. And I feel like I was just a mess that day, and I was angry. And I was so used to having so much alone time with her that I felt like I wasn't getting as much, and it was nobody's fault. It was the right thing. Thank God she didn't end up upstairs. She needed all that company. Even when Rachel would say, I don't want company right now, sometimes I think it's best. Her family, of course, always made her feel better, just always. Her dad, her mom, her brothers and everything. And she had a full day that day. And then when everybody left, and it was just me and her in the room, and her mom was there, and her aunt, Kathleen, was there, and they're all talking in the other room. And I leaned down, next to her on her left side, which is the right side of the room if you're facing her, which is weird because the couch is on the left side of the room, which would be her right side. I remember her holding her arms out and saying, "Is it time?" It's not the first time she had said that, and I didn't know what she was talking about for a while, and that time it just hit me. I said, I said, "I don't know, Rachel, is it time?" And I was thinking, does she want me to take her somewhere else, to the hospital? No. And she shook her head no, and she kept pulling me onto the bed. And she was basically saying, is it time to go now, to die? And I realized that. So I got closer to her, and she shook her head. I kneeled down, but was holding onto her, and she shook her head. She wanted me to come up onto the bed with her. And so I did, and she had tubes and stuff, and I didn't want to hurt her, but she made room, and I laid with her on the bed, and she had been holding her head for a long time forward. And it just kills me to think about her neck like that. And every time someone would try to help her lean her head back, she wouldn't do it. And I know now that I think she was fearing that if she relaxed and laid back, she would go. Because she started to talk and say that she was sorry. And I didn't know what she was sorry for. And I said, for what, Rachel? I said, for the marriage wedding thing? And she said, yeah. And I said, listen, I'll always call you my wife. As far as I'm concerned, we're married. And, we went over some things. Like, I was trying to speak for her. She was having trouble speaking, and she asked about Rudy. And I said that I would take care of Rudy, of course. And she started to try to, let go. She put her head back, and but it wasn't happening. And eventually her aunt came in, and I don't know if I can even really go over the day again, or that night. I've done it so many times now that just can't do it again. I don't want to go to that place. I've done it here, and I've said so many things here on this, and it's been erased because I haven't paid. But I don't know. I just don't want to go there anymore. But this is a hard time for me. I all of these days, her birthday, my birthday, this day, I don't sleep for days before they arrive, and I don't really know why. I don't attribute it to this until I realize, well, maybe that's probably because I'm anxious about this day coming or whatever. But I just miss her, and just miss her. And that's it. I don't even want to get into it anymore.